Peace, family. Y'all know who it is. It's Bakari Lumumba, back once again, the progenitor of LumumbaSpeaks.com, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we could gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Back once again, as you all know, this is a space where we tend to focus on what political, social, educational issues. But as you all know, I am a huge boxing fan. I like to prefer myself as a boxing historian, aficionado. Um, and so we're going to be breaking down, previewing, and of course, providing my own prediction for the first super fight of 2023. And that is, of course, the super fight coming up this evening between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. They are fighting 1 pound above the lightweight division. Of course, they had a catchweight contract of 136 pounds. The weigh-in yesterday was full of fireworks, of course. They've been going back, talking back and forth. And this fight took about 2 years in the making, calling each other out on social media, IG, Twitter, you name it. And so now we're here. Many may be arguing, hey, as a Pan-Africanist, you're someone who, of course, is rooted in the Black radical tradition of audacious self-assertion. You believe we should be doing what we can in the way we can to help restore our people to our traditional greatness. Why are you taking time out of your day to focus on a boxing match? And so I'm glad that many of you have asked that rhetorical question, and of course, I'm going to answer it. So first and foremost, we know that as African people, hold on one moment, I got a comment here. Salute to Tank Davis. Tank will be victorious. Shout out to Brother Abdul Sharif. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button, brother, as well as the notification bell. That smash that like button. If you want to tap in and be part of the conversation, I'm going to put the link in the chat. But my thoughts are, and so we're going to get into it, right? So this whole concept of you're a political brother, you're an educator. Why in the HE double hockey sticks are you looking to have a conversation regarding a boxing match? So one, I think we have to understand, and many of us understand, that anti-Black racism is omnipresent. So historically, and even to this day, Black people have face discrimination, and even some would argue in placism in the world of combat sports, particularly boxing. We could talk about Sam Langford, who was actually one of the all-time greats. Many people have him in the top 5 all-time or top 10 greatest boxers of all time, yet he never fought for the title. One would talk about Tom Mellenew, right, who was robbed of the ability to win the heavyweight championship of the world when he took his talents to Great Britain, to London, to fight for the title. This was back, I believe, in the 1800s. So we see that there's a history of this. We also know that the Black community tends to, boxing is part of our Alpha Warrior skills. Absolutely, brother, right? We tend to find that we tend to live vicariously through our sports heroes, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent. We know some people would take umbrage with that, but this is a reality, right? We know that when we look at the heroic efforts of Serena Williams and Venus Williams at the All England Club, also known as Wimbledon, right? The great exploits of Arthur Ashe, right, to be the first African American to actually win the singles title at Wimbledon, right? We look at Joe Louis and how when he was throwing that right hand, he had a hell of a right hand. He's considered one of the greatest finishers, greatest punchers of all time in the history of boxing. And we don't have to get into where he ranks with his Bum of the Month club, right? The Brown Bomber, as he was known, from Alabama by way of Detroit. Well, from Detroit by way of Alabama. I'm sorry. Lived in the Black Bottle neighborhood of Detroit and lived on the same block as who is considered as the greatest, of course, boxer of all time, and that, of course, is Sugar Ray Robinson, right? That neighborhood also was home to Della Reese and a number of African American luminaries. So shout out to Detroit, shout out to the 313, shout out to Wayne County. But we know that when Joe Louis was fighting, he was throwing those right hands, when he was defeating Billy Conn, so on and so forth, that he wasn't just punching against an opponent. He was punching down against anti-Black racism. He was punching against Jim Crow, right? And so we tend to live vicariously through our sports heroes. And then we, of course, know Muhammad Ali, the charismatic, loquacious, militant, masculine representation of Black athletic ability during the, of course, 1960s and 1970s. And, of course, he provided, many would argue, a representation of Black manhood that, of course, is congruent with what the era and the times. And so with that being said, with that brief soliloquy, we're going to dive into, of course, the upcoming match, right? And that upcoming match is going to be between what, of course, Gervonta Tank Davis. I believe he has what 20. He's 28 and over, 26 knockouts. Then we have King Ryan Garcia. Give me one moment, family. Give me one moment. Apologize, family. So I'm back. And as we know, King Ryan, 23 and 0, 19 knockouts. He has a height and reach advantage. He's known for his what? World-class speed. They argue that his hand speed is the equivalent of Roy Jones Jr. in his prime. And we know that's saying a lot because Roy Jones Jr., his athletic ability was what some people call superhuman. Many people argue he was an X-Man. And so with that being said, our boy Tank Davis has the experience edge. He was, of course, an outstanding amateur, as was Ryan Garcia. But my thoughts are, I think Tank Davis' power, his accuracy, we know that he throws the fewest punches of any boxer per 12 rounds in boxing. But his accuracy, and I believe his footwork, his ability to set traps, his ability to make taller fighters give up their height, right? We know that he's only 5'5.5", and so he has a history of fighting taller men, and he has had the ability to set traps and negate their physical advantages. So with that being said, I'm going late stoppage. I'm saying TKO 10 for one Gervonta Tank Davis. Once again, my prediction for the fight, the super fight, the first super fight of course, 2023, is that it will be TKO 10 by Gervonta Tank Davis. Of course, here we always bet on black, and I'm going to bet on black this evening. And I believe that our boy from Charm City, Baltimore, is going to bring it home. And he's going to show that he truly is one of the elite fighters, one of the pound for pound fighters, not only in America, but throughout the world. And that he is, of course, the preeminent fighter in the lightweight division. I also believe that as a result of him leaving Mayweather Promotions, or not really leaving, but of course, finishing out his contract, he's going to seek out those monumental big fights with the elite fighters in, of course, the lightweight division. And I believe that after he takes out King Ryan Garcia, who I believe will put up a great fight, I think he's going to come out. He's going to take command, try to take command of the center of the ring, use his jab, use his height, use his reach, and of course his hand speed to dictate the pace. But I believe over time, Gervonta Tank Davis will be able to wear him down, particularly with I think a ferocious body attack, similar to how, of course, Floyd Mayweather was able to break down Zab Judah in that April 2006 fight, which took place, ironically, 17 years ago. Of course, at the MGM Grand and of course, Las Vegas, Nevada. So, though that's my prediction, I would love if when Tank Davis gets through, of course, Ryan Garcia, that when all the dust clears, there'll be a fight between Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. I think it's likely. I think that Tank Davis, his ceiling in terms of weight classes, of course, is 135 due to his height, maybe 140 depending on the matchup, right? But I think that if he is continuing to move on weight, he may be a modern day Roberto Duran, right? Someone who was small in stature but has the hand speed, the power, and just the technical ability, even though he's an aggressive boxer puncher, to be able to, of course, take on bigger fighters, taller fighters, and still come out on top. So my prediction is, of course, Gervonta Tank Davis, TKO 10. The link is in the chat, family. If you all want to be part of the conversation, tap in, let me know who do you believe, of course, will be victorious this evening. You can share your why, but we're going to keep it respectful. But the link is in the chat, family. Make sure you're hitting the like button, like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell for future videos. But as I stated, I'm a huge boxing fan. I used to, do some sparring, a little amateur background myself, and so I have a huge love and admiration for the sport. My children, they even used to box when they were much younger. I might even post some pictures on my channel with them at the boxing gym training, them being exhausted after going 6, 7, 8 rounds on the heavy back, so on and so forth. But I think it's important that we understand the history, of course, when it comes to sports and how we live vicariously and support, our sports leaders, our legends, as we like to say. So with that being said, the links in the chat, family. If you want to tap in, give your perspective on how you think the fight will, of course, end. I'm predicting a 10th round TKO. I think that Tank is going to be able to take him in the deep water and use his technical ability and the fact that, of course, Garcia has not fought anyone of his level, hasn't fought anyone of a world class level. Um, and of course, drown him, as they say, take him in the deep water and drown him. But that is my prediction. I want to hear what you all have to say as well. But Abdul Sharif states that boxing is part of our African or Afro warrior skills. Salute to Tank Davis. Tank will be victorious. I certainly hope so. I haven't bet on the fight, but I'm not going to. But I definitely think that we want to make sure that we're with our brother in spirit, right? We know that tends to be the case. We're yelling at the television, yelling, get up, move this way, do that, so on and so forth. I can recall growing up, we used to watch a lot of athletic events as a family, the Olympics, even the NBA Finals, right? And so I could call my mother yelling at the screen when the Bulls were losing, capitalize, get the rebound, so on and so forth, right? And so I am looking forward to, my daughter's actually upstairs, so we're going to have a great fight night. She was with me for Wilder and Fury 2. We had a fight night, and of course, she was like, I think the white guy's winning, right? So it's going to be great time. But if you want to tap in and share your prediction for who you believe will win the fight and share your why, the link is in the chat. Looking forward to you all doing that. If not, we're going to, of course, shut things down. But I simply wanted to get on and give my perspective of who I believe was who I believe was, of course, going to be the victor in the match. So I'm betting on black. I'm going Tank Davis, TKO 10. I believe that his superior technical ability, his history, right, his pedigree, his experience fighting world-class fighters, his experience fighting fighters who are bigger than him, and I think his tenacity, I think his will to win, I think is going to lead to him stopping Garcia late. We know there are many people picking Garcia because of the wicked left hook that he has, the power. I think Tank will taste the power. I think Tank has tasted power before. I don't think you get that far in boxing and you haven't tasted power. And I believe that he's going to be able to take those shots if he is caught with them and be able to move forward and be victorious. I think that this is going to be a fight to where we're going to see what the best of what both men are made of. And I think that they're going to have to win this fight based on skill, guile, toughness, tenacity, but more importantly, heart. And we know boxing is a sport in which you can't hide who and what you are when you get inside the square circle, right? Many people could talk tough, they could bloviate, they could resort to histrionics to, of course, sell a fight and get the bag. But at the end of the day, boxing is a sport to where you can't hide who and what you are. And if you are a coward, it would show. If you are someone who can't handle adversity, it would show. If you are someone who is not prepared for the moment, it will show, right? When we talk about not being prepared for the moment, we could talk about Triple G in this first and second fight with, of course, Canelo Alvarez, where he almost had stage fright, right? When we talk about someone who isn't able to handle adversity, who tends to show some form of cowardice in the ring when things don't go their way, we're talking about none other than, of course, Victor Ortiz, right? And then when we talk about someone who is unable to rise to occasion when necessary, I would think of one Oscar De La Hoya, who every time he fought an A-level fighter, he found a way to lose. Not found a way to win, he oftentimes found a way to lose. Then, of course, unfortunately, we talk about the Iron Mike Tyson. He is an all-time great champion, but Iron Mike Tyson, when his will to win was tested the most, unfortunately, he was not able to summon what was needed to win. And I'm talking about, of course, his first fight with Buster Douglas, but his only fight with Buster Douglas. His two fights would have been Holyfield. Then, of course, we know the bludgeoning, some would argue, that he received at the hands of Lennox the Lion Lewis. And I don't think there's any shame to lose to Lennox Lewis. I mean, 6'5", 250 pounds, in shape, punches like a mule, kicks, and had just exquisite boxing skill, along with a ramrod jab, right? So it's no shame in losing to Lennox Lewis. But I think when we talk about someone that isn't able to show up when a man of smoke, someone showing cowardice, someone who isn't ready for the bright lights of the big stage of a super fight, we could talk about Triple G, Mike Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya, and of course Victor Ortiz. But I don't believe that would be the case with Tank Davis here tonight, here and now in Las Vegas. So make sure that you all tune in But once again, I wanted to tap in and make sure that I gave my perspective on not only previewing the fight, but also giving a prediction of who will win. And of course, as I stated before, I'm always betting on Black, and I'm betting on Gervonta Tank Davis to take it home to victory. I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm gonna have me some white wine spritzer, um, get my drink on a little bit, and then of course we're going to enjoy the fight, my daughter and I. But want to make sure that you all are aware of that. The link is in the chat, family. If you want to tap in and briefly provide your prediction on who you believe will win and why you believe they will be victorious. If not, we're going to tap out. Until next time, y'all know what to do. Always bet on Black. Peace.